When we open our inner eyes of soul wisdom, we behold the omnipresent light of God. Within this light is the consciousness of Christ, the Son or pure reflection of God present everywhere in the universe. This Christ consciousness, the infinite Christ, is God's intelligence and love knocking on the closed eyelids of our souls, urging us that all we have to do is look to this light within, and we shall see all ignorance vanish. To him who has opened his inner eye, everything is one. Resurrection means that the universal spirit present in all creation, as the Christ consciousness, is constantly being resurrected, awakened, or manifested in everything. Whenever you do away with ignorance and think good thoughts, Christ is being resurrected within you. That is, the Christ consciousness that was fully manifested in Jesus is awakening in you. You can bring Christ consciousness within you into expression right now. Let us join as one voice in speaking these words of truth together with conviction. This is my eternal moment of revitalization and renewal. I know myself as the radiant expression of the universal wholeness which God is, I am. I dedicate my life to expanding in love, creativity, spiritual authority, and generosity, which naturally flows inward, upward, and outward by means of me. Well, here we are. Here we are on this most amazing Easter Sunday. How are you feeling?
Great.
How are you feeling on this Easter Sunday? Are you feeling new? Little new? Sorta new? Pretty new. Okay, we'll accept pretty new. As I was sitting there, it's interesting. A little song came into my mind around Easter, and it was, "Here comes Peter Cottontail, hopping down the bunny trail, hippity hoppity, happy Easter day." I guess, I don't know if that's it, but that's what came into my mind. Hippity hoppity, happy Easter day. Today is truly a resurrection for me. Leaving California to come to Delaware, releasing everything I have known for 40 years and coming to the place of my father's life. Not knowing anyone, but finding all of you. On this day, I stand before you reborn and renewed. On Friday night, we had a beautiful Good Friday Taizé service. Thank you, all of you who were here. Yesterday, I facilitated a full moon shamanic drum circle at Finding Avalon in Camden. It was amazing. And today, I stand before you on Easter, not my plan, but the divine plan. At 7:12 a.m. this morning, I received a call from our dear Reverend Kathleen asking me to pitch hit. Those weren't her words or my words, but asking me to step in. You know, a friend of mine used to always say this:
If you stays ready, you doesn't have to get ready. Now, I know that is just not grammatically correct, but it has such significance. If you stays ready, you doesn't have to get ready. And so today, it feels like I have prepared for this moment all of my life. All of my life. And so today, each one of us, we come here in this new life on Easter Sunday. So Easter is about rebirth and renewal and rejoicing. And it comes from the pagan celebration of the goddess. Anyone know the goddess's name? Astarte. Yes. She was a Germanic goddess of spring and dawn. And we know from the biblical story that Jesus was placed in the tomb, and on the third day he arose again from the dead according to the scriptures. I remember that specific phrase from Catholic school. How many of you remember that? Yes. This is a significant message for us to rise from the darkness into the light. On this day, we celebrate the resurrection. Resurrection is of Latin origin, meaning to rise again. In Christian Science, they say resurrection is a rising above mortality through the understanding of spiritual life, as demonstrated by Jesus Christ. And today in New Thought, we are celebrating the rise of the Christ consciousness. So, what is this Christ consciousness? We talk a lot about this in New Thought, don't we? The Christ consciousness. What is it? Anyone have an idea what it is? What is it? Yes. Tell me about that. Talk a little bit more about it. As I am creating this, I'm co-creating. I have some from Reverend Sharon, and those of you that were with me on Friday and today, you realize that I like a lot of feedback from you all. So, and so let's talk a little bit about this thing called Christ consciousness. So Sharon, if you would repeat that again, that was profound.
Yeah, just that it's the awakened God self within us all.
Yes. Oh,
Always ready.
yes. If you stays ready, you doesn't have to get ready. So what else is the Christ consciousness? What does that mean for you? This is something that we really embody in New Thought. Christ consciousness. We know that Christ means the anointed one. So I know everyone's heard that Christ was not Jesus' last name, but it just Jesus the Christ, the anointed one. And so we each walk with this consciousness of the anointed one. So what else does the Christ consciousness bring up for you as you think about it and feel about it?
For me, it means for the Catholic school thing, that God is not out there somewhere in this mystical place, that He is
Yes.
in all of us.
Yes.
That I have this God within me, and we're all connected by the God.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Other thoughts about Christ consciousness?
When I think of Christ consciousness, I think of
Yes.
not, criticizing people, just being open to helping others all the time,
Yes. Yes. Hmm.
reaching
Yes. Hmm. Thank you. One more. I feel like, what's your name? Mark? I feel like Mark has something. He has, you know how people get that look on their face like, I'm really contemplating this and I feel like I have something to say. So I don't want to put you on the spot, but hmm. Hmm. Yes. Yes. Anyone else have any burning thoughts? Yes. Awareness and spiritualness. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. It is about always, and it's also about always remembering who we are. Always remembering that we are connected to the source, regardless of where we are, regardless of what may be going on. We are always connected and tapped into that divine source, that divine spirit that moves through us, that guides us always and in all ways. So I'm going to leave this here because I'm going to pick it up again.
So, as we think about this Christ consciousness, the words come love and compassion, acceptance and miracles, showing up and remembering. So can you catch the vision of what it might be like for you to dwell deeper in this Christ consciousness? How about as you watch the news? How about when another person perhaps is being unkind? How would your life be different? How would it be to hold the Christ consciousness within yourself even when you feel like things are falling apart? Because in that falling apart, it really is falling together, coming together, and remembering that always, right where you are, the divine is. How would it be to allow yourself to be inspired by the example of Jesus the Christ, being our true self, and knowing that, having the Christ consciousness doesn't mean that we're perfect and we have it all figured out. I believe part of that Christ consciousness is working it out as we go along. Well, I'll do this when I get this, or I'll do this, I'll whatever. Just start right where we are. You don't have to have, Reverend Kathleen in her message, she says, you don't have to have a purified conscious, subconscious mind to begin living a nobler life, right where you are. So we talk a lot about this Christ consciousness. How do you hold it? How do you even get it? Anybody?
Well, your attention is where the power is your mind. And so there are all these choices as you go through your day, your moments. And you can
Yes.
keep it conscious and choose over and over.
Yes. So steps to holding Christ consciousness. Recipes. I love recipes. But one of the things about recipes is I never follow them. They give me a general idea of what it is, and then I just kind of flow from there. So, in steps to holding Christ consciousness, I'd like to share 3 little steps. Simple, right? So, in this place where we may find ourselves a little off balance, Mark talked about balance. To do 3 things, and I know we've all heard these before, and even maybe as a child, but to stop, look, and listen. Who sang that song? The Stylistics, I believe. Stop, look, and listen to your heart, hear what it's saying. There are messages all around us in the music, in the poetry. Stop, look, and listen. So stop. Stop means stop, but really just breathe. When you're in the midst of whatever this thing is, excuse me, just stop and breathe. Breathing is the most powerful tool we have to bringing ourselves back into balance, back into the Christ consciousness. Breathing. So I'm going to invite us just to breathe. So I'm going to invite you to breathe in and breathe out. Breathing in and breathing out. And in that moment, if you have to just go somewhere in the midst of whatever that thing is that's happening, just breathe. Just breathe. And then look. We can look with our eyes. This is good. We can look with our eyes, but we will look with the eyes of the divine, looking through the eyes of God, seeing the truth of whatever that situation is. What is the truth? If someone is just at you and unkind, what is it? Everything's a call to love or something, love or a call to love. What is that person needing in that moment? Can we focus? And then the next step is to listen. Listen to your heart. Stop, look, and listen. And in that listening, there was I don't know if it was a fad, but a thing, and it's still prevalent. But WWJD, what would Jesus do? Again, 3 steps. Stop, look, and listen. As you're listening to your heart, it's asking that question, WWJD, and I like to say WWLD. What would love do? WWLD. What would love do? And so Reverend Kathleen also had a method for embodying the Christ consciousness by practicing Jesus' teaching of love one another. Joel Goldsmith, a modern-day New Thought spiritual leader of the Infinite Way, used this method to develop his own Christ consciousness, oneness consciousness, known for his use of affirmative prayer and powerful instantaneous healings. The greatest form of unconditional love we can offer another is seeing the divine or spiritual truth in them and in every situation. And so she has sharing a little exercise, and I'm going to invite you to participate in this exercise. So I invite you to close your eyes for a moment, to choose one member of your family. Bring them to mind and see their face. Feel how it feels to be with them. Feel that love. And I invite you to say to them in silence, I see the risen Christ in you. I see the spirit self in you. I see the I am consciousness knocking at the door from within. I see the risen Christ in you. I see the risen spirit self in you. And just taking a breath in and just sending that person so much love. And then I invite you to picture yourself, bringing your full self to mind, all of your glorious self to mind. And I invite you to say, I am the risen Christ. I am the Spirit Self Divine. I am the risen Christ. I am. Those are 2 of the most powerful words, the I am. I am. Goldsmith's instructions are to choose one person every day and for 5 minutes do the same thing and see the I am, their spiritual identity. In a few short months of this 5 minutes per day self-discipline, you will experience the divine in others, and the Christ will come back to greet you. And so as we are on this Easter Sunday, I stand here in gratitude for each and every one of you as you allow your Christ consciousness to just spread out into the world, that glorious self that you are. Easter Sunday is such a powerful time. And so, what I'd like to do now is I'm going to invite you to stand. Feels like we've been sitting a long time. And as we are contemplating this Easter, you know about the movements, holding the arms up and getting your power. And so we're just going to
And so as we hold our arms up, we are calling in the light. And so if you would repeat after me, today I am born anew. I allow this divine expression of the Christ consciousness to go forth, to make a magnificent day, a magnificent week, and a magnificent life. I am the Christ consciousness. I am the Christ consciousness. And so it is. So what I'd like you to do is to go to the person next to you and give them a high five, a happy Easter high five. Woo, woo! I am the Christ consciousness. I am the Christ consciousness. Woo, woo! Happy Easter. And so I'd like to close with reading the day. You may be seated. Oh, you can stand. I'd like to read today's daily word from Unity. I get the daily word every morning in my email, and it always is a wonderful way for me to begin my day. And so it says, the affirmation, or the title is, "The Eternal Light of Easter Morning lifts my spirits to new heights. I am a spiritual being engaged in a human experience. As such, my individual spirit is resurrected when I use faith and forgiveness to dissolve negative energies and attitudes that have been slowing me on my spiritual path. I am the light, and the kingdom of God is within. Recognizing this, I dissolve thoughts and consciousness that would deny my worthiness for personal resurrection. I am a whole and perfect expression of infinite spirit, here in human form to create, choice by choice, the new dimension of consciousness that Jesus demonstrates through his Easter manifestation. As it is for me, so it is for the world. I affirm that the energy of resurrection is lifting all people to new dimensions of love, appreciating deeply the true unity of all life." And if you would repeat after me the affirmation. The eternal light of Easter lifts my spirits to new heights. One more time. The eternal light of Easter lifts my spirits to new heights. And so it is. Thank you so much. And so now, is it offering time? No, not yet. Oh, Sharon sings for us. Yay.
Dan, would you turn the guitar down? I'm going to switch cables and see if I can get rid of that lovely sound we had on that first song.
I thought that was part of the song.
Nope.